What is the disturbing backstory behind something that is widely considered wholesome? 1. Canonically, Chuck E. Cheese is an orphan who never knew when his birthday was, so he celebrates other people's birthdays to fill the terrible, painful void of his abandonment. 2. Sherman Kelly wrote the lyrics to Dancing in the Moonlight while recovering from a violent assault carried out on him and his girlfriend by a youth gang. He envisioned an alternative reality where people just dance and be happy all the time. It was his way of dealing with the trauma. 3. For a while, Nepitas was owned and operated by Scientologists. They wanted to add religion to it while they had it. 4. Candyland was invented during the polio epidemic by retired school teacher Eleanor Abbott, who herself was recovering from polio. She invented the game to keep children entertained during their hospital stays who themselves were affected. 5. Valentine's Day. Saint Valentine was killed for being the priest to marry people so men could get out of war. For this he was beheaded. 6. I met a writer named Thomas Dish when I was in college. He wrote The Brave Little Toaster. He told us Disney hired him to write a movie about lions. He wanted to do King Lear with lions because the plot mirrored how lion prides operate. Old, lazy but powerful male, dangerous daughters. But Disney said they wanted a young hero. So he changed it to Hamlet with lions. Uncle kills father, kid runs away, ghost of dad visits and calls for revenge, etc., but with a happy ending. Timon and Pumbaa are Rosencrantz and Guildenstern. Wrote a treatment. Turned it in. They said thanks but no thanks and fired him. Movie comes out. They took his idea and didn't pay him. He said Disney was notorious for doing this to creators. I read years later that he took his own life. Never think of the Lion King without thinking about him. They made so much money off his idea and he got nothing. 7. Voice actor for classic Disney Peter Pan died alone of a drug overdose in an abandoned warehouse after years of being unable to get work in Hollywood later in life. 8. The song Save the Last Dance for Me by the Drifters was written by a man who was crippled by polio and in a wheelchair watching his new wife dancing with other men at his wedding to her because he couldn't. 9. In the animated film All Dogs Go to Heaven, the little girl who plays Amory was murdered by her father prior to the film being released. Burt Reynolds struggled hard to finish recording his scene where Charlie says goodbye to the little girl one last time before going to heaven. It's a tear-inducing scene without knowing the backstory, but you can absolutely hear the pain in Burt Reynolds' voice. It's generally considered a very loving and touching moment, but knowing what happened makes it really hard to listen to that without getting emotional. Her father was a violent and abusive alcoholic who murdered both her and her mom and then committed suicide. She was 10 years old. 10. Most fairy tales. Disney has scrubbed all the Grimm out of the Brothers Grimm. 11. The girl who voiced Ducky in The Land Before Time was shot to death by her father, along with her mother. 12. The kids' book Love You Forever by Robert Munsch, As Long as I'm Living, My Baby You'll Be, was written in the wake of the stillbirth of the author and his wife's 2 babies. 13. Hello Kitty was made as part of a national movement to cutify Japan to distract from the abominable war crimes they committed in the Second World War. 14. Bananas. You thought cocaine was a blood-soaked cartel and war-driven commodity? The banana trade makes cocaine look like a farmer's market. Also chocolate, coffee, tea, spices and most tropical fruits. And meat. And seafood. Basically everything we eat, wear, and use. 15. The song Pumped Up Kicks is catchy and was used in things like commercials and children's parties years ago. It's also pretty clearly about committing a school shooting. 16. The Wizard of Oz could have its own behind-the-scenes movie with the amount of stuff that went down. 17. Went to a community event last night and, 32 years later, Macarena still fills the dance floor. A bunch of teens learned the dance for the very first time. The lyrics are, of course, in Spanish, and about the titular Macarena having a threesome with her boyfriend's friends while he's swearing his military oath. Also interesting is that the band played traditional music primarily, and this was their first pop release, in their 50s. They went back to traditional music after. 18. The Volkswagen Beetle was a beloved car with a quirky design. It was also commissioned by order of Adolf Hitler, designed by Ferdinand Porsche, as an affordable, practical vehicle for the German public. Its original name was the KDF wagon, which was an abbreviation of the Hitler Youth motto, Kraft durch Freude, strength through joy. 19. The little girl who played Matilda, in the movie Matilda, mom died before the movie was released of cancer. I believe the director showed her a rough cut before she passed, but geez, that made me sad to learn as an adult. 20. Pugs and other similar dog breeds suffer all their lives because of selective breeding, leading to the deformation of their faces, legs, bodies and skin, plus cardiac and respiratory issues. I really hope they get extinct someday. I can't bear watching such an aberration of nature due to human vanity. No thing must suffer their entire life only to look cute, or adorable, or luxury. 21. O.J. Simpson, the beloved football player and actor, was surprisingly problematic. Go ahead, look it up. 22. Mormonism's got a closet of nearly all skeletons and no garments. 23. Dancing in the moonlight. Sherman Kelly and his girlfriend were beaten with a baseball bat and almost killed, and his girlfriend was additionally raped by a gang in St. Croix whilst on the beach. He wrote Dancing in the Moonlight as an alternate reality of that night, as he wanted to believe in a better world than the one he experienced. 24. Scottish folds. Those cute cats with the folded ears. They have those ears because of osteochondrodysplasic. It causes joint, cartilage, and skeletal deformities. There is no treatment, only pain management. Those poor cats are in constant pain. 25. Resusci Annie, the rubbery anatomical model we learned CPR on. The face is modeled after the death mask of an unidentified and unclaimed woman who drowned in the Seine River in the late 1800s. Toymaker Osmond S. Lardell chose to use the woman's face on the mannequin as he thought male trainees might be reluctant to kiss a man's face. The face was sculpted by the Norwegian-Danish sculptor Emma Matheson. 26. Semi-Charmed Life by Third Eye Blind, the chorus of which was used by commercials and movie trailers in the 90s, is actually about being a drug addict. 27. Henry Ford promoted square dancing in public schools, starting in the 1920s. Sound wholesome? He did it because he hated Jews and thought they invented jazz. He wanted to get America back to traditional, white and Christian music and dancing. 28. Nintendo started as a card company in the late 1800s. It probably would have gone defunct, were it not for the Yakuza. 29. The snake that's killed in Friday the 13th was a real snake. To make matters worse, it wasn't some wild snake they found in the woods. It was somebody's pet snake that had to watch his snake get killed. He apparently had no idea and had to be held back from punching the director. 30. The reason cats and dogs like squeaky toys is not because the noise is funny, it's because the sound is similar to the death screams of their prey. Thank you all for watching. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up, and subscribe for more videos like this one. See you in the next video.